a mystical snack.
I'm Jason Horton.
I'm Rebecca Lieb.
And this is Ghost Town.
It's springtime in Celtic Scotland, and surrounding a bonfire are a bunch of grizzled Highlanders, passing around a hat with pieces of thick, flaky cake inside. Each person takes a piece until one unfortunate palm opens to reveal a blackened slice. This man is the Cailleach Beltane, and he is immediately snatched away for human sacrifice. Or is he? Today we're heading to Scotland to talk about an ancient ritual of the burnt Beltane Bannock and the cursed Cailleach Beltane. While the idea of ritualistic sacrifice feels a little bit October, Beltane is actually a festival marking the beginning of summer in the ancient Greek Celtic calendar, celebrated from the eve of April 30th through May 1st. While modern-day Beltane celebrations are pretty PG, think maypoles and flower wreaths, ancient Beltane was celebrated with a bit more intensity, a time marking purification and transition, a fire holiday with giant bonfires and rituals to protect the people from any harm throughout the harvest by otherworldly spirits. To the Celtic people of the time, it was essential to ensure a smooth seasonal transition by appeasing natural and supernatural forces. Like its winter-welcoming fellow festival, Samhain, which we also did an episode on, Beltane was a time when the veil between the mortal and the magical was lifted, for better or for worse. No pressure. In Scotland, the Cailleach are both good and bad, personifications of the seasons, both beautiful and destructive. Maybe that's why they're known as, quote, the storm hags in ancient legend. They, of course, are the kind of master of ceremonies of these ancient festivals, including Beltane. Due to the lack of written Celtic records, there is little information about the first Beltane festivals, or the Beltane Bannock, but mention of this holiday appears in early medieval Irish glossaries around the 1700s. Sarah Barr, who grew up around Perthshire, where the superstitious Beltane Bannock rituals once took place, alludes to the fact that rituals like the Beltane Bannock are forged from a darker, more desperate time, when sick cows or a low crop could mean the literal death of a community. Quote, I do wonder if traditions like the Cailleach Beltane have been sort of not sanitized, but they no longer carry the same fear and weight behind desperately having to make sure your family survives by sacrificing someone in your community. But it still has that vein of, well, now Jimmy, you're the Cailleach Beltane. Don't let our crops die. Although archaeological evidence suggests that Celts did perform human sacrifice, the rite of the Cailleach Beltane and the Beltane Bannock are, as far as my research goes, mostly ceremonial, to instill fear, to let people know who's boss, the elements, the seasons, and to keep human beings, especially human beings in ancient Celtic times, really focused on surviving and keeping their families and community alive. But now we know what Beltane is, and Cailleach, but what exactly is this dark ritual Beltane Bannock, and how does it work? Well, we'll tell you after the break. So it's Beltane in ancient Scotland, and a bunch of Highlanders are about to perform the Beltane Bannock. Here is how the Beltane Bannock goes. A group stands around a bonfire, passing a hat containing a grilled oatcake. Think a big biscuit cut into slices. One of these slices is different from the rest. It is a piece that is covered in soot. It is blackened, very distinct from the others. Each person takes out a piece until one person plucks out the one covered in charcoal and soot. This blackened piece is called the burnt bannock, or more formally, the Cailleach Beltane. The owner of this piece is doomed. They are a scapegoat who must be sacrificed. The companions around him grab him, pulling him towards the fire, maybe even laying him out on the fire or by the fire, preparing to enact a butchery, butchering their own friend, perhaps even creating a kind of cannibalistic atmosphere, also known to have eggshells thrown at them. It's a chaotic, fright-inducing time for the person who gets that blackened piece of biscuit. But at the very last minute, a group of rescuers rush in and save the owner of the Cailleach Beltane, instead giving him a lesser penance, likely leaping over the fire 3 to 7 times, or even just taking on the name Cailleach Beltane as a nickname for the rest of the year. Humiliating. Also, I know I might be going back and forth with Caliac Beltane, Beltane. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it. Thank you for being patient with me. Anyway, this all sounds fun, right? Yeah, if you don't have the Caliac Beltane or the Black Bannock. I also want to add that the Bannocks themselves aren't just for show. They must be eaten, even the black one, as a sign of gratitude and abundance. In fact, there are numerous recipes online for Bannocks, which I feel like falls somewhere between a shortbread cookie and a sweet biscuit. For a Bannock, you will need the following ingredients: oatmeal, baking soda, salt, butter, and hot water. It's said that if you eat one in the morning of Beltane, you'll be guaranteed ample crops and livestock, and that's pretty much what everyone wants these days. Or at least it's a more positive outcome than a near sacrifice by your best and closest Celtic friends.